So, I am here with John Donahue, a Marine Corps veteran who served during the Persian Gulf War. So, Mr. Donahue, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where and when were you born?
I was born in Providence, Rhode Island, August 30th, 1971.
So what did your parents do for a living there?
My father was a truck driver, and my mother was a secretary for a doctor.
I see. So, about how many siblings did you have?
I had two older sisters, and they're still alive.
Glad to hear it. So, did any of your family or extended family serve in the military? If yes, who?
Yes, my grandfather was in the Navy in World War II.
I see. Where was he stationed?
He was stationed on the USS Ranger.
Yes, I believe I've heard about that ship. So, what were you doing before you entered the service?
I was in high school, Woonsocket High School.
Ah, I see. So you went directly into the Marine Corps?
Yes.
All right. So we've already answered what branch of the military you served in, the Marine Corps. How old were you when you enlisted?
17.
I see. So why did you choose the Marine Corps?
Because it was the hottest branch.
So do you recall your first days of service?
Yes, I do.
What were they like?
Very confusing down at Paris Island. I thought I would expect what I was getting into, but it was a lot different.
So, different how?
Just the intense of training.
I see. So, what happened when you departed for training camp during your early days of training?
Well, they fly you down to Beaufort, Georgia, and then you get on a bus and you go to Paris Island. And first few days you're getting checked over by doctors, getting shots, getting haircuts, getting your uniforms, and then day one of training you get dropped off to your training platoon. And then training goes on from that for 13 weeks down at Paris Island.
I see. Do you recall your instructors?
Yes, I do.
What were they like?
Senior drill instructor was Staff Sergeant Jones. And then another drill instructor was Sergeant McCarthy, and the last one was Sergeant Theakston.
So what were they like?
They trained you hard, and that was it.
Yeah.
There wasn't any kind of relationship except for them training you.
True.
So.
I mean, you get through it all right?
Yep. Yep.
Clearly you did. And so did you receive any specialized training?
I was in the infantry, so I went to School of Infantry. I graduated the highest in the class. I got promoted to Lance Corporal.
Nice. So how did you adapt to the military life?
Oh, it was great.
So you enjoyed it a lot?
Yes.
Would you say that you had enough supplies, things you needed, etc.?
Yep.
Okay. So was there anything that you did for good luck back then? Any rituals or sort?
No.
All right, fair enough. So where did you serve?
I ended up getting stationed down at Camp Lejeune. I was with the 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines.
I see. What was your assignment there?
I was rifleman, all 311 Infantry.
I see. Do you remember arriving?
Arriving down at Camp
Yeah,
Lejeune?
right there.
Yeah.
But what was your first impression of the place? What was it like?
It was hot, and when we got dropped off to our battalion, who I was getting stationed with, people were hanging out on the catwalk, yelling fresh meat and everything else. It's a lot of hazing that goes on, but it was all in good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what were a couple of your more memorable experiences there?
Meeting fellow Marines, that bond the fellow Marines share.
I see. Like, you give an example?
Everybody had each other's back.
Ah, I see.
Yep.
Band of brothers and all that?
Yep.
All right. So, were you in combat at any point?
Yes, I was in northern Iraq in 1991.
I see. So, what was it like?
I was 19 years old. It was pretty scary. Just, it was very nerve-wracking.
I think I understand that. Were you injured during that battle?
I wasn't, no. Nope.
Okay. Did your unit in general have any casualties?
Yes, we did. We had 3.
All right. How did this happen?
One was accident by an IED. 2 other people got shot.
Were they deaths or were they something?
Deaths.
wounded?
Deaths. Yep.
I see. So, okay. How did you feel when you witnessed the battlefield afterwards, and when you saw what had happened?
Deprived of so much sleep. So I guess it really didn't hit me until years after I got out of the military.
I see. Would you care to say what it was like then?
Like I said, it was very hectic, lack of sleep, but we felt we were there to protect the Kurdish people when Saddam was killing them after the ceasefire was called in Kuwait and all that. So what our job there was to push the Iraqi army further down south to protect the Kurdish people.
All right. So, were you awarded any kinds of medals or citations?
We were, the whole unit got the Southwest Asia Medal, Humanitarian Mission Medal. And I can't remember the rest of them, but.
I see. So, what sort of friendships or camaraderie did you form while serving in the Marine Corps?
Well, what's very interesting is the whole Facebook thing. So now it's much more easier to keep in touch with people. I was invited to my friend's retirement ceremony in March. He stayed in, he reached the rank of Sergeant Major. His name was Peter Costa, so I haven't seen him since 1993, and I went down to his retirement ceremony as a guest, and it was like we never even skipped a beat in time. While I was down there, I had a lunch with my drill instructor, so I hadn't seen him since 1989, and that was a really good feeling to see him, so, you know, it was great.
I see. So, how did you stay in touch with family, people you knew back home?
Well, when I was deployed, we had free mail, so what we would do is rip off the box of the mail from the MRE that came in. We'd rip off the thing and make a postcard. And we had free mail. You wrote where the stamp was, and that's how you mailed letters home.
I see. So, what did you do for recreation, for fun when you were off duty?
We weren't off duty.
Ah, I see.
We stayed in fighting holes the whole time.
So, about where were you when the war ended?
We made it right outside of Mosul, Iraq, and then they ended up coming up with an agreement with the Kurdish people, so that was when we pulled out and left. So I don't remember exact date when that was, but.
All right. So, how'd you get home?
Well, I was on a Mediterranean float on the USS Guadalcanal when we got called in to go to Iraq, so we flew back to our ship and headed home on the ship. I was on an LPH carrier, which carried helicopters. So we had a long, I don't know, half a month sail back to the United States.
All right. So, how were you received by your family and such when you got back?
Oh, it was great. My family was down there to see me. My daughter was born while I was there, so I didn't meet her until she was 4 months old.
Mm.
So.
I imagine that would be a very heartwarming experience.
Yes, it was. It was. It was great to come home and have that.
So, how do you feel that you readjusted to civilian life?
It's a hard question at times. Sometimes you miss the service as much as like if you ever left home and missed your family. I got out because I thought it was that my time I put in was enough, so decided to move on with my life, and here I am today.
I see. So, what did you do? Did you start working somewhere? Did you go to college?
No, I didn't go to college. I started working out of the Teamster Union Hall, which my father was a Teamster from a truck driver. My grandfather was a Teamster, so I did that for many years, and then I became ill from some of the stuff from in Iraq, so now I'm medically retired.
Ill? How?
PTSD and a few other things.
I see. So, okay, don't have to ask that. Have you remained in contact with your fellow veterans? You've already answered that question. Yes, you have.
Via Facebook.
Yeah. So, are you a member of any official veterans organizations?
Yes, I'm a member of VFW 7272 out of Bellingham, Massachusetts, and I just got voted in as a commander of the post.
Nice. So, and you've already answered what you've been doing since separating from the military. So, in your opinion, how did your wartime experiences affect your life?
That made you grow up fast. I think it really had a big impact on how I look at things in life and everything else.
All right.
Yep.
So, what are some life lessons that you would say you learned from your military service?
Always be on time.
Yeah, I imagine that would be important.
Yeah.
So, how has your military service, would you say, impacted your feelings about the war and the military in general?
I'm a big believer in the military. I think that every kid should have to serve at least 2 years in the service.
Ah, you mean like how they do it in
In
Israel?
a lot of other countries, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
If you could leave one message that to future generations who'll view this interview, what would it be?
To just remember the veterans of the country and with the struggles they had that they have to deal with after they come home.
I see. Is there anything right now that you would like to add to this interview?
Yes, I really would like to add. My son leaves to go to Paris Island on June 6th, so I'm very excited on that. A family tradition that I hope is going to keep on going from generations on.
I see. Must be very proud of him.
Oh, I very am.
Glad to hear it. So, how did you feel about the location that you were stationed in?
Oh, it was really a miserable location. It was hot. We lived in fighting holes, and it is what it was, and that's about it. It was hot. It was very dirty there. People don't realize how good they have it in the United States here.
Yeah. So, did you interact with any of the locals at all?
Yes, we would come across some locals. We'd have roadblocks where we'd have to take guns off of people and everything else. We passed out candy to the little kids.
All right. What would you say the people were like?
They spoke a different language, so I have no clue what they were talking about.
Ah, I see. So you've already answered that. Well, actually, you know, I might as well ask this. Would you have made the same decision to join the Marine Corps today as you did when you were 17?
Yes, I would.
Mm-hmm. And your opinion, was the Persian Gulf War justified?
I believe it was.
All right. Would you care to elaborate?
Well, I think after Saddam took over a few countries, we had to do something because that's what the United States has been involved with for many years, protecting the whole globe.
All right. So, why did you enlist in any branch of the military in the first place?
I felt like, as a citizen of the United States, it was my duty to do so.
All right. So, what did you learn about the place you were in? And if anything, really.
Don't drink the water there.
Oh?
I caught dysentery there.
Oh, that's must have been very unpleasant.
Yeah.
If you were So if you were to ask a fellow member of your unit about you, what would they say about you?
Probably say I was a joker back then. Got the jobs done. Was trained well.
Mm. So, this has already been partially answered, but what is the most important thing that you learned in the military, would you say?
Most important thing I learned in the military would be to be on time everywhere because people are relying on you. No matter if you do not like a person, you still have their back no matter what.
All right. So, if you could, would you change anything that happened during your service?
Wouldn't change a thing. It made me who I am today.
A wise answer. So, would you recommend the military life or not?
Yes, I would.
Would you like to explain why?
I feel that if we had every young man and young woman in the branch of the services, the country wouldn't be so fast to going to war because everybody's child would be there. I don't think it's right for only the 3% of the population to serve the country.
I think you make some very good points there.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, Mr.
Oh,
Dunn.
you're welcome. It was my
Not a
pleasure.
problem. Not a problem, sir. Not a problem at all.